I think our political coverage on the web and in the newspaper demonstrates how closely we can work together. It is now seamless cooperation. And I'm working to mediate that kind of seamless cooperation in everything that we do. And it's a process. It's in process.
Okay, well, when you decide, you can come back and talk to me about it. But before we're done, I really would like to find out about your novel, because I understand it is a novel. Because
Yes.
you have written nonfiction
Yes.
in the past. You've published many successful nonfiction, but this is a novel. Is this like, you know, you hear always journalists have their novel in their desk drawer
Right.
forever? Is this that novel that's been in your desk
Well,
drawer?
I had an idea in my mind for a long time.
Yeah.
First of all, I thought I could never write fiction because I don't have much of an imagination. But it turned out that when this idea occurred to me, the last nonfiction book I did with Bob Kaiser was
Right.
The News About the News. And just before we got that idea to do that book, I'd had this idea for a novel, and I literally did put it in a drawer. It was like a page, a page.
How you had
idea about
time,
it.
I can't even imagine.
And then we did this other book. And then we finished the book, I went back and took the file out and read the page, and I thought, there's something there. And I figured out I could do it largely from my own experience. I don't have to have an imagination.
So it's a Washington novel?
Of course, it's a Washington novel.
Is it a love story?
There's love in it and other things.
Sex?
Yes.
Okay, good. How was that first time writing a sex scene?
Very awkward, and my agent and my editor said, very awkward. So I had to work on that.
Well, you must have succeeded, because I hear you sold it to Knopf.
Yes,
so.
Knopf's going to publish it sometime early next year. The working title is the Rules of the Game,
Okay.
and it's about investigative
Newspaper
reporting,
editor,
and
okay.
it's about politics, and it's about espionage and a lot of stuff. All
So Marty
together.
Wile's in it after all. Is this any kind of glimpse into Len Downie's life after the Post?
Well, I've already got an idea for another novel, so I will continue to write fiction.
So when people
we'll see
say
what
you've got to
happens.
find out from him what he's going to do when he leaves the Post, would this be an ideal sort of pasture to be in?
There are a lot of
writing?
books that I want to write, fiction and nonfiction, and there might be other things I want to do too when that time comes.
What do you love more, or both? What's your first love, news or words?
I have to say that the news is probably my first love. I'm learning how to love words. I was always a reporter first. I was an investigative reporter for many years, and writing is sort of secondary to most investigative reporters. That's why I have such admiration for Bart Gellman and Joe Becker, who wrote the Cheney series, because they're both great wordsmiths as well as great diggers. I was a digger first and learned how to deal with words. And actually being an editor helped me, because you get to work with all these great writers and you pick up things from them over the years. And now I'm much more comfortable with words. But it's more of a struggle than I mean, editing is very easy for me. In fact, I've been through this experience with the book. I was learning how to be a novelist, obviously, and I'm still learning. But I went through a number of drafts. Each draft, when I finished it as the writer, I thought, that's pretty nice. Turn it into my editor, and he would send me back about 2 paragraphs that completely tore it to pieces. And by first, I'd be very depressed and figure I got to stop this. And then secondly, I would go back and look at it and say, wait a minute. I see exactly what he's talking about. The editor in my head would kick in. Okay. And then that would send me through my next draft. So I'm still at that point where I'm partly the writer and partly the editor, and I hope to become more writer over time.
When did you find time to write it?
It was a hobby, so I did it only when I felt like it. It wasn't a nonfiction book. It didn't have a deadline.
Were you a nighttime writer, a morning writer?
But some of both. Sometimes I get up early in the morning, sometimes late night, but more on weekends than any other time.
Right.
And my wife was very, very nice to me to allow me to spend a lot of our weekends at the computer screen.
On a computer, very good. Now, let me ask you this. Have you already decided who gets to review it at the Post?
No, I don't do that.
Certainly not in this case.
So many of us at the Post are authors that we give Book World complete independence.
Not so many of you at the Post are the boss.
Yeah, but we give, at any rate, Book World has complete independence. What Marie Arano, the editor of Book World, figured out the last time with the book, The News About the News, was she got somebody essentially to do a book report on it. It described what the book was about and never expressed an opinion about it.
Well, there you go.
I thought that was pretty clever.
That should be interesting. Well, do us a favor, when you have your novel, come back.
I would love to.
Thank you very much. It's been great having you here. And again, congratulations for a really big win.
Thanks very much.
Thank you, everyone. See you next week.